solar energy and its impact on sustainable economy, economic uplift, and curtailing poverty. When the last tree will be cut down, the last drop of water will be drunk, then we shall not be able to eat our money and bullets. Sustainable Development Goals were discussed in the 2015 UNO Summit, and a milestone was set to achieve a certain target till 2030. Prior to the Sustainable Development Goals, there were 8 Millennium Development Goals to set certain targets from 2000 to 2015. Ensuring environment stability was the 7th Millennium Development Goal. And environmental stability was again incorporated into Sustainable Development Goals. There were 17 Sustainable Development Goals, out of which clean and green energy was sustainable. Goal number 7 is about clean and green energy from renewable resources, which is inexhaustible, eco-friendly, cheaper, and helps in coping with climate change because of their less carbon footprint as compared to non-renewable energy, which is exhaustible, poor, and instigate climate change because of their high carbon footprint. Speedy glacier melting, more chances of coastal flooding, inundation of low-lying coastal area like Netherland. According to World Bank reports, 840 million people lack electricity supply, and it is estimated that 650 million people still lack electricity access till 2030 in sub-Saharan Africa. It is better to provide them local electricity by installing solar energy in far-flung areas instead of wasting a lot of money for installing distribution lines for these areas. It is better to inculcate the concept of solar lighting, solar roofing, and solar home system in that areas. Installing renewable energy is costly at the time of installation, but in long run, it is much cheaper as compared to environmentally poor non-renewable energy, which is cheaper at the time of installation and is disastrous in the long run in the form of wastage of wealth for its maintenance, its fuel, its distribution system, etc., while solar energy just costs at the time of installation. In China, solar energy has given electricity to more than 8 lakh families living in poverty. Installation of solar energy is best optimal for people living in peripheral areas, rough terrain, and hilly areas where it is difficult to install distribution lines. A solar panel is not less than a blessing for far-off small poor settlements. Solar energy boosts up economic growth in such a way that installation of solar panels means not as much dependency on national electric supply and declined burden on natural resources which are depleting speedily means saving electricity for future generations to fulfill requirements of skyrocketing pollution. Exceeding to scientific estimates, our planet can sustain a 9 billion population. After this, there will scarcity of rapidly depleting natural resources. The human population is growing in geometric mean while natural resources are increasing in arithmetic mean. Solar cars mean not as much combustion of fossil fuel. Unsubstantial combustion of fossil fuel means not as great atmospheric pollution and minor carbon emission. Diminished atmospheric pollution means clean air and efficient breathing problems. Clean air means fewer chances of acid rain and less damage to the karst and limestone region and slight damage to flora and fauna. Limited carbon footprint means less global warming owing to less heat absorber carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Lower CO2 emission means slow melting of polar and tropical glaciers. Less melting of glaciers means less wastage of fresh water of glaciers into undrinkable saline oceanic water in the form of floods. Low coastal level means limited chances of inundation of low-lying coastal areas. We are in the 21st century and still, we hear about some areas of Africa which are technologically backward and developing countries as there is no concept of electricity there. Solar energy is a blessing in disguise for developing countries. They need infrastructure for developing their education, health, and business sector. They get to develop themselves by using solar energy. While for developed countries it is a difficult task to shift their whole infrastructure on solar energy. That's why developed countries are also the main emitter of carbon dioxide. To neutralize their carbon footprint, they are bound to carbon credit from others. Uplifting those areas by installing solar energy mean providing them electricity, and second and most important is, that the installed energy would be eco-friendly as compared to USA and China, which are developed states and main signatories of Paris Agreement but main emitter of carbon dioxide at the global level, and they are bound to buy carbon credits from other countries which have eco-friendly energy and less carbon footprint at the global level. Installing solar energy means making developing states compatible with 21st century requirements equal to developed countries by enhancing their living standard and curtailing poverty as an inheritance for their future generations. We can install solar energy in distant areas where there are small and scattered settlements and no electricity or shortage of electricity, or no operational primary or secondary school for boys and girls because of no electricity or no operational health facility. In far-off areas there is mostly poor strata of the society consist of vulnerable sector, mostly females. Arranging technical education and skill by ensuring an uninterruptible supply of solar energy as compared to costly non-renewable energy can transform this vulnerable stratum of society into skilled manpower. And females constitute 50% of the total global population, and the uplift of the strata means much closer to achieving Sustainable Development Goal number 1, which is about no hunger or zero hunger. The education our youth today means skill manpower and proper management of the human resource. And skilled manpower means more working industry. Running industry means economic uplift. Economic uplift means curtailing poverty. By using solar energy we can fulfill other Sustainable Development Goals like Sustainable Development Goal number 1 no poverty, Sustainable Development Goal number 3 good health and well-being, Sustainable Development Goal number quality education, Sustainable Development Goal number 5 gender equality, Sustainable Development Goal number 8 decent work, and economic growth. In the long term, clean and green energy is beneficial for mankind in a number of ways and helps in overcoming disastrous climate change. Solar energy prevents climate change, which slows down glacier melting by keeping isostatic adjustment in equilibrium. Disturbance in isostatic adjustment leads to oceanic earthquake maintaining their equilibrium and disastrous tsunami which cause damage of billions of dollars to the world economy every year.